On this edition of Issues and Insiders, we speak with special volunteers at the K Royal Culture Festival that marks its 10th anniversary this year. Hello and welcome. You're watching Issues and Insiders for this Wednesday, May 8th, here in South Korea. I'm Min Sunhee. Today we speak with two foreign volunteers of this season's K Royal Culture Festival. For this, I have Oinam here in the studio. Oinam, it's a pleasure to have you here.
It's my pleasure, thank you.
I also have Nabilah with us. Nabilah, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. We'll be happy to meet you.
Right. Oina, we'll start with you. For the sake of our viewers who may not be familiar, could you tell us a bit about the K Royal Culture Festival?
So K Royal Culture Festival is the largest cultural heritage festival in Korea, held every spring and autumn at the 7 major cultural heritage sites in Seoul. So the locations which have the history of Joseon and the Korean Empire are the 5 main palaces, namely Gyeongbokgung Palace, Changdeokgung Palace, Changgyeonggung Palace, Doksugung Palace, and Gyeonghee-gung Palace, and also the Jongmyo Shrine and Sajikdan Altar. And the festival offers a wide range of cultural and artistic programs such as performances, exhibitions, experiences, and ritual reenactments for both Koreans and foreigners to meet palaces today.
Right, I see. And before we commence any further, Nabilah, perhaps you could tell us a bit about the traditional attire that you are currently wearing.
Okay, so this attire is actually taken as a motif from the traditional attire worn by the royal painter back in the Joseon dynasty. So it is called a 도화서 화원복. So this attire is actually, as I said before, is taken as a motif and it's made for the royal festival mascot, which is Goong-ee Doong-ee. So before, if I could say, the Goong-ee Doong-ee actually carries a meaning of the people who is the closest to the palace. So this outfit, if you can see, so it actually consists of the inside, top and bottom, and they also have a 행전. And then this is the blue 청창이 한복. And then we have this ok색 괴자. And we have this apeti, and this is the 청gon, and also here there's a 팔도시 over here. So it's very interesting clothes.
Right, it really is. Now, Oinam, I understand that this year is your 2nd year as a 궁이 둥이 volunteer. What has the experience been like, and how did it start? How did you start volunteering as a 궁이 둥이?
So actually, I have lived in Korea for 7 years, so I have a really deep understanding of Korean culture. So it makes me want to help those who are not yet get into Korean the society or don't have enough understanding of Korean culture. So at first, usually we just bring them to the palaces. So it makes me, I have visited the palaces for like 1,000 times, but I was always a visitor to the palace. And at that time, I saw the application form of 궁이 Doong-ee, and I just applied it without hesitation, because I think that visiting the palace and being a part of the palace are totally different experiences. So I hope that I can experience the charm of the palace from another perspective through these events, and I'm lucky enough work as 궁이 Doong-ee last year, and last year I worked in the team of Goong Shot, which we use Polaroid cameras to take photos of visitors. And it's very funny that because we are in the Hwawon uniform, they want to take photos with us too. So it's really, I still remember that I stand in front of Gyeonghee-do at Gyeongbokgung Palace, and people lining up to take photos with us. So I have been there for like an hour. So it was really memorable. So because of these unique experiences, I am still close with my members, and we still hang out together. And actually, a few of them joined as 궁이 Doong-ee this time again. So I would say it was a wonderful experience, and it's tempting me to participate again.
Right, I see. Nabilah, I understand that there are a total of 100 궁이둥이 volunteers for the festival. How many of them are foreigners, and could you tell us a bit more about how they're selected?
Okay, so as I heard that this time for this 2024 봄 궁이 Royal Festival, so this is the biggest skill that I heard. So among of this 100, so 80 of them are Korean and 20 of them are foreigners. So among these foreigners, firstly, the main requirement that we would have is we need to have a fluency in Korean. So that would be the first one. And other than that, same as other Korean participants, during the given time, we would have to submit our application. So in the application, we would have to firstly, of course, write in our motivation to apply. What would make us want to apply here? And also we had to write things like, what do we want to do if we will be selected as a 궁이둥이? So those kind of factors that will be used to select as a foreign 궁이둥이 with this time.
And staying with the subject of selection,
yes.
Did you do anything to try to raise your chances of being selected?
Okay, so when I heard there were only about 20 foreign participants, that's actually a very small number.
It really is.
So I was very nervous of not getting selected. So at first I appealed with my diversity of language. So at first I'm speaking English, right? I could speak English. Aside from that, I can speak Malay language. So because I came from Malaysia, and Malay language is also similar to Indonesian language. So that would also be very helpful to other Indonesian visitors that will come. And aside from the Korean, English, and Malay language, so I actually speak a basic Japanese language. So I actually put that as one of the point. And aside from that, at the point where we had to, appeal what we want to do there, so I actually given some of my ideas of what I could add into the program at that time. So I think that would actually help me.
Give us an example of one idea that you suggested.
So at that time, I think I gave an idea about, for example, making an experience activity like making a traditional craft or something like during the program.
Right, I see. And Oinam, this is an impromptu question. What did you do to try to appeal to be selected as a 궁이둥이? Did you also make a suggestion for crafts or cooking?
I
can't remember.
I think language is the most important thing.
Because you've been here for 7 years, I'm assuming your Korean is also quite good. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Oina, what were your duties, specifically speaking, as a 궁이둥이 volunteer this time around?
So actually, we have team duties and individual duties.
How many teams are they?
There are totally 10 teams this time. So 5 working in Doksugung and 5 in Sangyeonggung.
I see. And what were your duties?
So for the team duties, I participate as the team Goong quiz. So we give quizzes related to palaces to visitors. We prepared lots of different kinds of quizzes, so maybe easier one for children and foreigners, and the more challenging ones for Koreans. Yeah.
And do you give them prizes?
Yeah, if they answer a certain number of the questions correctly, we will give them small prizes.
And what's the prize that they get?
There's a lot. Maybe a little notebook, or like for the phone, they have
a phone carrier or
click top.
Okay.
We stick on the phone, or a fan. Because it's hot.
Right, of course. Nabilah, were there any interesting episodes this time around as you volunteered as a 궁이둥이?
Oh, actually, since I volunteered for quite a number of days, so there was actually a lot of episodes, if I'd say. But if I would have to pick one, so my team, so as Oinam just explained just now, we had a team activity and also individual activity. For the team activity, my team is from the Jayu team. So for the team, we had to prepare what kind of project, what kind of program do we want, we have to propose. So we proposed making a hoppe, which is an identification card of the Joseon dynasty, making it, and also a secret letter given to the Taeanjeok. So that kind of activity we had. So one of the interesting experience, I would say, is there was this one day, a little boy of about 6 years old actually came to our booth, and just as similar as other younger children, they really interested in making the hoppe because it's some kind of like an art craft. So he actually participated in that, but after that, he said that he wanted to write a letter, which is mostly adult participants would participate. So I was very surprised by that. And after that, he said that he is actually very interested in the Korean dynasty about the Taeanjeok. So he actually spent a lot of time asking a lot about the history of the Taeanjeok, and also listen to the explanations from our team members as we walk around and get to know more about the palace. It's a very, very interesting experience for me. And actually, I find it very inspiring to see a very young child getting very immersed and interested in the Korean culture.
I know, a 6-year-old boy,
Yes.
that's really young. Oina, what would you say is the appeal of Korean palaces?
For me, the appeal of Korean palaces is that it has an environment that makes me feel relaxed and comfortable. So every time when I am in the palace, I feel like I can escape the hustle and bustle of the busy world, and I just feel calm there. So I like go to the palace every time when I have free time, and I just stay there for like the whole afternoon.
From the 5 palaces that you mentioned, Oina, is there a particular palace that is a favorite for you and that you would like to introduce perhaps to foreign visitors?
This is a difficult question to answer because I think each palace has its own unique features. But if I have to choose one, I would choose Changdeok-gung Palace to introduce. So there are several reasons. So first of all, Changdeok-gung Palace is the only one UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Sites among the 5 royal palaces. And there are outstanding examples of Far Eastern palace architecture and also garden design. And secondly, I think visitors who come to Korea for the first time, they would like to try hanbok. And there are lots of hanbok rental stores near Changdeok-gung Palace, so it will be really convenient for them. And thirdly, Changdeok-gung Palace has a secret garden. We call it Huwon, and it's historically a private retreat for the kings. So the scenery is really great there, and you can take beautiful pictures there also. Although there are additional 5,000 won for admission, it's still worth it. And last but not least, there is a gate within the palace to go to Changdeok-gung Palace right away, and it's also near to Gyeongbokgung Palace. So if there are visitors who want to explore more about palaces, they can just go to the nearby palaces and continue their journey there.
Right, it has a great location. I have to agree with you there. Nabilah, I understand this year's K Royal Culture Festival included a greater number of programs targeting foreign guests. Could you tell us a bit about them?
Okay, so firstly, the foreign visitors could easily access to the overall programs that are listed and available for this time. So they could see the schedules via an online leaflet, which this is a link they could easily access via the Instagram account and such. So the online leaflet not only comes in Korean language, but also in English. So that's very, very helpful for to attract a lot of foreign visitors. So besides that, so since there's a lot of programs that needs a pre-booking, so for the pre-booking programs, they can easily book via an online booking site's English site. So the programs that foreign visitors can access is, for example, there is a Royal Palace music concert. So for the concert, there are about 100 performers that come to play their Gayagum, Taegum, and Haegum. They all come together and perform at the Gyeongbokgung Palace. So that is one of the activity where a lot of foreign visitors really enjoy. So besides that, there's also a night tour where a lot of visitors usually just come during the day, but when it comes at night, there's a totally different experience with the palace, right? So the night tour includes, for example, the Doksugung Seokjeon night tour, or there's also the Changdeok-gung Moonlight Lotus Show, that kind of program. So besides that, there's also a very popular Gyeongbokgung Saengwabang tour. So where visitors can taste and also experience the traditional palace snacks and also teas at the Sangkwabang inside of the Gyeongbokgung Palace. So, and lastly, there's also, which I could say one of my favorite. So it's called the time travel to the Joseon Dynasty. So visitors can experience wearing a traditional hanbok, and then they can take a stroll around the Gyeongbokgung Palace, where it can make them feel like they're actually living through the Joseon era. So that is, I think that's one.
Sounds exotic. And Oina, what do you propose perhaps to boost the number of foreign visitors to Korean palaces?
Yes, so it's my own opinion. So I actually think it's the era of short videos now. So nowadays there are the function to upload short videos almost on every social media platform. And we can say short videos has become the preferred mode of video consumption for people lately. So in fact, actually, during last year's Goong-ee Doong-ee activities, I and my teammates uploaded a short video, which the background was in the Changgyeonggung Palace. And actually, I don't have much followers on my social media platform. However, the video that I upload has got nearly 10,000 views, so which really surprised me. And it makes me think that maybe it would be a good way to promote palaces. And also, I think that maybe organizing a K-pop concert in palace would be a good way to promote too, because people love K-pop so much, and there are too much K-pop fans from all over the world. And actually, in this time activities, when we talk to some visitors, they tell us that they came to Korea because they have a concert of their idols. So I think it makes me think that we can leverage the power of K-pop to promote and make them to visit Korea.
Right, great idea. What about you, Nabilah? What would you propose to further boost the number of foreign travelers to Korean palaces?
Okay, so when we talk about the Korean palaces, I think the Gyeongbokgung is the first palace that would actually come to mind. But if I would say that the other palaces is also very, very interesting, and it's actually quite, how to say, I feel like they're missing on other beautiful palaces as well. So actually, for me, it's the first time for me to come to Doksugung as well. So if I would like to say that for other palaces that maybe had a lesser foreign tourists, so they maybe could start making activities that are more interactive, if I would say, interactive programs where, for example, making something or making them able to enjoy the palace inside of just using their eyes and view, where they can actually use their hands and actually literally participate in something. Like, for example, experience programs, like wearing a traditional clothing while strolling across the palace, or maybe tasting something, baking something. So I think that kind of interactive programs would actually make them more immersed in the Korean traditional culture and also palace. And of course, by saying that, not to forget a lot of English-friendly accompanied instructions would be very important as well. And besides that, if I would have to say, the Royal Festival is actually a very powerful event, because throughout my days of volunteering, I have actually seen a lot of visitors, foreign visitors, that came with a very curious mind and asking us a lot of questions. And after they actually participate in our activities, they actually left with a very happy faces and very satisfied faces. So I think that's a very, very interesting program. Yeah.
Right, all thanks to your volunteering, of course. And Oina, your work as a volunteer for the spring edition of the K-Royal Culture Festival is over, and the Autumn Festival will be opening later this year, right? Will you be volunteering again as a Goong-ee Doong-ee?
Yeah, actually I wanted, because I think Goong-ee Doong-ee is really a good program to join. I gained lots of valuable experience from the program, so I hope to participate again in the Autumn Festival.
Right, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. And apart from that then, what are the rest of your plans for this year?
So actually, I'm currently pursuing my master degrees in East Asian cultural industry. So it's my first semester in graduate school, so I'm paying effort to gain knowledge about my major. And also, as a cultural industry student, it's really important to get with the times. So I'm planning to use my leisure time to watch more K-dramas, K-webtoons, K-movies, or even visit festivals to know how the industry are changing, and also help me to establish my final research direction. And yeah, and also, as I just said before, I hope to join 궁이 Doong-ee again at the autumn festival.
Right, for sure. And Nabilah, what are your plans for the rest of this year here?
Currently, I'm attending a graduate school as well. So I hope to graduate this year. I really wish to graduate this year with flying colors. And hopefully, by graduating, I hope to be employed, if it's to be employed in this year. So to achieve my goal, these two biggest goals, so I plan not to only be focused in my studies, in my research, but I hope to also actually join a lot of external events, not only in the school, but also outside, like for example, this 궁이 Doong-ee volunteer activities, because by doing so, I can meet a lot of more Korean friends, Korean people, and by doing so, it actually expands my vision, expands my understanding and thinking about the Korean culture. Besides that, it's also improved my Korean language, if I would say. And this, by having this opportunity to actually mingle with a lot of other people, not only Korean, but of course other people from other countries as well, it actually gives me a lot of memorable experience in Korea while living here, not only just in school, but of course other experiences. So by doing so, I think that it actually improves me not only as a academically, but also as a person. I think that would be my biggest plan for this year.
All right, and best of luck with those plans then.
Thank you very much.
All right, Nabilah, thank you so much for your time and your thoughts today.
Thank you very much.
And Oina, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Right, well, on that note, we end Wednesday's edition of Issues and Insiders. Thank you for watching. Be sure to join us again same time tomorrow.